Good, let's talk about that. So first, there is no science and social studies Common Core. Second, they are trying to make something called the next generation science standards. Science does not lend itself well to this. I say that as a former scientist and a science teacher. Does not lend itself well to this. I mean, can you really think you could do general science kind of ideas? Yeah, they tried. There's an educational think tank called Fordham, and Fordham reviewed the drafted documents for the next generation science standards, tore them apart. They lack specific information like certain physics equations that everyone needs to know. You really do kind of need a comprehensive curriculum for science. Now, social studies is a bigger issue because social studies is our values and our culture, right? And so every state has a different history. And so they've stayed away from doing social studies. Now, in order to compensate for that, when you're doing English, they want you to include more non-fictional text. That's something I didn't want to get into too much today. But you need to incorporate non-fictional text. And you're going to be tested on non-fictional text. And what I mean by that is the days of going into an English class and reading nothing but fiction are gone. You're going to have to give your children historical documents to analyze, scientific documents to analyze, and really, and I may be biased on this, I'm quite pleased at that. It means that maybe my kids can read and write a lab report, or at least be familiar with it by the time they would get to my science class. Of course, English teachers are up in arms about that, and it continues to be a debate, because any amount of time you devote to non-fictional text are certain crucial, as they would claim, English and very crucial cultural pieces that you're not going to get to in the English classroom. And so maybe you're not reading 1984 anymore, or maybe you're only reading excerpts from it because you need to read something that's a more direct political commentary. And so there's just a lot of discussion and debate about that. And then how do you incorporate, what do you incorporate for early elementary school when you're dealing with non-fictional text? A lot of critics of the Common Core, attack it because they're going to say that you're going to be reading, VCR manuals and government documents. Of course, the proponents of Common Core say, well, when people have a job, they actually have to read things that aren't fictional books.